Let's take a look at this question. So we need to figure out what the output is going to be when we call mystery 5. Now let's look at the method mystery. It takes one argument, which is an integer, and we're going to assign that value to variable num. And inside it, we have a conditional statement. If that num value is greater than 0, then it's going to execute what's in the if block. If n is equal to 0 or less than 0, let's take a look at what's inside the if block. So that first call here, it's a recursive call. As you can see, it's calling itself, right? Mystery is calling itself mystery again. And what's happening here inside the if block, this recursive call, whenever it's calling itself, it's going to pass in num minus 1. So if we start with mystery 5, then this recursive call is going to call mystery 4, and that mystery 4 gets passed in here. And then when it comes to the if block again, it's going to call mystery 4 minus 1, which is mystery 3, and that 3 gets assigned to num, right? And then it's going to be mystery 3 minus 1, which is mystery 2. And then by the time num becomes 0, then we fall under the else statement, and we execute this line. And as you can see, there is no recursive call, so we end it right here. So we can see that this recursive method, it's not going to go on forever. It's going to end when num becomes 0. And for every call of mystery, that num value will decrease by 1. So let's begin tracing the code. One thing we want to do is list out the variables and method calls that we want to trace. So we have num, and then we have mystery. And we'll trace n minus 1. And then also we'll look at the output. Okay, so we're going to be tracing these 3. All right, num begins with 5. And 5 is greater than 0, so we're going to execute what's in the if block. So this time we're going to be calling mystery 5 minus 1. And that system out print statement here below, we don't get to execute that now because we're not done with mystery 5 minus 1. So it's going to be put on hold, and I'm just going to use these brackets to indicate that it's on hold. And then I'll just use system print, system for short, to indicate that it's on hold. So this means system print. And then now let's take care of the first recursive call here, 5 minus 1, mystery 4. And that 4 is now going to be sent in the mystery call as a parameter. And mystery 4 is greater than 0, so we're going to execute what's in the if block. So let's trace this. Now remember that system statement here, it's on hold. So every time we make a recursive call, there's going to be debt piling up because all that system print statements are just going to be put on hold. And we'll pay the debt later on once we're done with the mystery calls. Okay, so mystery 4, when we call that, it's going to compare num value, which is 4, with 0, and 4 is greater than 0, which means that we're going to execute what's in the if block. So we're going to call mystery 4 minus 1. Oh, and one more thing, I forgot to note what our num value is at this point. Our num is 4, right, because we passed in 4, and that num is assigned 4 at this time. So mystery 4 minus 1 is called, and of course that system print statement, it's going to be put on hold, and we'll pay the debt later on when we're done with this mystery. Okay, now this mystery 4 minus 1, it's going to pass in 3, right, to mystery call, and at this point our num is 3. And because 3 is greater than 0, we're going to call mystery 3 minus 1, And of course, that system print statement, it's going to be put on hold, right? Once we take care of mystery 3 minus 1, we get to go to the next line. Okay, so mystery 3 minus 1, it's going to make a recursive call to mystery itself again. And this time our num value is going to be 2. So num is 2 at this point. And that mystery, when it's executed, it's going to trigger another mystery here because 2 is greater than 0. So mystery 2 minus 1 is going to be called. And that system statement right below that, it's going to be put on hold, right? We'll take care of that when we're done with this mystery call. Okay, so this time we're going to pass in mystery 1. Our num is 1, and which means that mystery 1 minus 1 is called, right? Because num at this point is greater than 0. And this is going to call mystery 0. Okay, so our num is now 0. Oh, one more thing. That system is on hold again, right? Yes. Now, our num value, when we pass it into mystery, it's going to assign num a value of 0. And when num is 0, it's going to fall under the else statement. It's going to print num and a space. And note that this is print, not println. So the next print statement, it's going to not print on a different line, but all in the same line. Now that our num value is 0, we can now execute this line here. Yep, and our output is going to be 0 and a space. So we took care of that mystery 0 call, right? Yes, so this is taken care of. Now we're going to go up and pay all our debts. So we're going to take care of the next system print statement. And at this time, our num value is 1. And of course, there's a space. So mystery 1 is taken care of. Let's go up and take care of the next debt. So this system print statement, it's going to print 2 space, right? And the next one, it's going to print 3 space, taken care of. Next debt to pay, it's going to print 4 space. Yep. And the next debt to pay, it's going to print 5 space. And we have paid all our debts and we are done. So note that this gets printed first, right? And then this comes next and so on. So if this is all printed in a single line, the output is going to look like this: 0 space, 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space, and 5 space. So this is going to be your answer.